Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielsen and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
Welcome back inside The Lock Shop, everybody. Thank you very much for being here on the Nielsen Media Coolbet Network. It's CFL Week 6 and Hus, Week 6 in the Canadian Football League already. Man, I'm fired up. Let's go. Hus, are you muted? I think you might have muted. Did you cough? Both just behind the scenes here, both Hus and I have horrible coughs. So if that happens again, that's why. That's what's up. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, getting into week 6, looking forward to seeing the Argos play their 4th game of the year. It's been a weird schedule so far. We've got Marshall Ferguson coming up with us on Winnipeg Sports Talk today to kind of go around everything happening in the league. So you can check that out coming up at the top of the hour over on YouTube. It has been, listen, Toronto's looked great, but they've only played 2 games. BC's looked awesome at times, and then they didn't look great against the Lions, or against the Argos.
Yeah.
And you got the Bombers that had that, that have looked like the Bombers with the exception of that one game. And then that's sort of at the top of the league, and at the bottom of the league, there's a bunch of teams that look like a real mess. And man, we can get right into that because this game tonight, man, it's now or never to end this streak. Dave Naylor's got a 3-minute piece on tsn.ca on it. Corey Warren's talking about it. I mean, what's it like in Edmonton right now going into this game? I mean, this could be 20 in a row.
I guess there's nowhere to talk about it, so nobody cares. I guess. Good news for the Elks is that TSN 1260 isn't bitching about them for 12 hours a day. So they've got that going for them right now. But look, Hus, let's bring up our picks. Let's dive right into this, buddy. I've been on the Elks a number of times so far along the way. And what is it after this Hamilton? Wasn't it like Winnipeg, BC, Winnipeg? It's like there's a chance, like it's they got to get this game tonight. But I look at the Ticats. The Ticats finally get the dub. The problem that I have with Edmonton and why I'm going to get on Hamilton here, -1 on the road in Edmonton as the Elks try to avoid 20 straight home losses. The Hamilton Tiger Cats front 7 defensively is outstanding. The Elks issue, and we can talk about all of their different issues, their offensive line is problem number 1. And that Ticats front 7, if I was the Ticats, man, I would just bring pressure all night long. You'll win the football game. It's that simple. So I just, I've been on the Elks like 4 times this season. It's backfire. I guess they covered for me last week. That was nice. I did hit the cover last week against Regina. But I'm too concerned about Hamilton's front 7 against what I think is probably the worst offensive line in the Canadian Football League. So I got to go Hamilton -1, man. I have to do it.
Listen, there's not very many teams I'd be backing the Elks against. The Ticats sort of seem to be like the one. I mean, yes, they got their win, but they haven't been good so far this season. They've got quarterback issues with Bo Levi out, although Schultz's look pretty good, I guess. This has to end. Like, as I said, there's not a lot of science to this pick, although I did get them earlier in the week at +3 and at +130 on the money line. There's obviously a lot of people feeling like I'm feeling like this just has to be the night because this line has gone from 3 to 1 and the money line right now in the Elks is even money at +100. As I said, it was +130 earlier in the week. Listen, I'm here for it if they don't get it done, though. It'll certainly be fun. And I mean, as you mentioned, the teams that are coming in to play them, I feel bad though I will say this, even as being in Winnipeg, which has always been a rival of Edmonton, great fans, there's been a great organization. I think Victor Cui's done everything they can to try to give people a second chance to get them back in. And this
they got to win. They got to win.
Chris Jones era has just been such a disaster. And obviously, as you well know, with the cap on coaching and management salaries, they have no other option. And this could be, I believe, a North American pro record. They'll tie tonight with 20 straight home losses. And if they get this one, it's going to get bigger. So I'm taking the Elks tonight. It has to happen sooner or later. I think tonight's the night. Give me the Elks. I'm taking them on the money line, but I'll take the point.
All right. There we go. I'm off the Elks for once. Maybe tonight's the night they get it. Look, I will say this as an Edmonton-based guy, I'm calling this game tonight. It would be nice to see the Edmonton Elks for this city. And I'm picking against them, but for this city to see them win, I'd be interested to see what the crowd is at Commonwealth. It's a pretty nice day here. It's a little smoky, but yeah, we'll see.
Just quickly on this, it does remind me somewhat of the Bombers during the Jeff Reinbold era, and I believe the Bombers started that season where he was the head coach at 0-10, and they won a game, and the team poured the freaking Gatorade shower on Reinbold and carried him off the field after their first win.
Do you think that would happen with Chris Jones?
No, I don't. No, I don't. But I am comparing this. Trust me, I don't think that would happen at all. But there will be some comedy involved one way or the other. But it's sad to see what's happened with that club right now. And I think it's now or never for a home win, never being at least for another month or two. Montreal's had a rough run of it lately. Cody Fajardo was on pace to get sacked 99 times this year.
it's tough.
And the funny thing is PFF's kind of grading their offensive line is doing quite well. A lot of this is on the quarterback. But listen, so far, the Toronto Argonauts have seemed like they've actually raised their level of play from last year when they won the championship.
Yeah, they look better.
Listen, I'm staying. I'm with the Argos until they give us a reason to bet against them. And 5 points isn't too much to lay on the Argos against the Montreal Alouettes, who I think are in a different class than the double blue right now.
100% agree. This one was a no-brainer for me. I'm going to get on the Argos -5. On top of this, Montreal was in Vancouver on Sunday, and now we'll be playing on Friday. So a little bit of a shorter week and travel all the way back across the country. That was the first Alouettes game I did this season, and I was a little fascinated, and they did fall behind, but they weren't so far behind early enough to abandon the run. Stanback had like 8 carries in that football game. Like, they did not try to run the ball with William Stanback at all. They actually had more designed running plays for Cody Fajardo than I would have expected. And they've got some weapons there. That Austin Mack is a hell of a player, and Keon Julian Grant is obviously an excellent Canadian talent as well. But their offense to me just looks a little stagnant. And you can say a lot of it's on Cody Fajardo. I get it. He doesn't like to sit in the pocket a ton, but it's not like the offensive line they're running the ball. Like, they're not getting huge holes for Stanback. So as much as, I just laid out the case against the Owls, this is still just an Argos pick for me. The Argos look really good in all facets of the football game right now. So Argos by 5, they're on the road, as Hus mentioned, but Argos -5 in Montreal. One of, if not the easiest pick of the week for me.
Yeah, and listen, I don't think this next one is far off, other than the fact that it's by far the biggest line of the week, with Ottawa, a home dog, getting just about double digits at 9.5. But, you want to talk about a bad situation for a young, inexperienced quarterback to welcoming in the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and their defense. After getting whooped at home by BC 3 weeks ago, the Bombers have given up 3 and 11 points, averaging 7 points a game.
Yeah.
We had Brady Oliveira on the show yesterday who talked about the way the Bombers, flexed on the Calgary Stampeders in the fourth quarter, running the football with that 10-minute drive to basically suck the life out of them. Zach Collaros is still the man. The defense has bounced back from that one tough spot. And I think the offensive line was really challenged early in that game against Calgary, as well as the week before, and has shown that they are still part of a team that is very much capable of winning another championship right now. I feel for Bobby Dice. You lose your top 2 quarterbacks. We don't know what's up with Nick Arbuckle. I guess he's been dinged up, but it doesn't seem like I've got really any confidence in him going forward. Listen, when you lose Masoli, you lose your number 2 early on. It's going to be a long season. Listen, I think they'll be able to be competitive and maybe win some games against some of the lower level teams in the league. That ain't the Bombers. And I'm looking for a double-digit win for Winnipeg. I'll lay the 9.5 on the road.
100%. I mean, it's just, this is a very difficult spot for the Red Blacks offensively. I mean, does the Bombers offense, like the Bombers offense, what have you thought of the Bombers offense so far this year, Hus? Like,
like it hasn't been.
It hasn't looked as explosive as it did at times last year, right? Like,
yeah, for sure. And I mean, listen, it was, they had a horrible game against BC. I mean, where they didn't do anything. And listen, BC's not playing this week, so we're not really talking about them right now. But the BC defense is absolutely legit.
But didn't they sack Kolaris like 7 times in that game?
Absolutely, absolutely. And this was the thing. We were wondering, oh my God, is the Bombers is Father Time finally catching up on this club? Well,
it doesn't look like it, but
I think we saw in the second half against the Calgary Stampeders that the demise was greatly exaggerated right now. And as I said, I talked to Brady Oliveira. I mean, they really do feel like that is a one-off. And Marshall Ferguson compared it to, early on in the season, the New York Jets would beat the Patriots in week 2. And then, you'd see them in the playoffs and the Patriots would whoop them by 35 and go, wait a second, what happened? I think there's a possibility that is the case. The bottom line is BC's really good. Toronto's really good. The Bombers are really good. I don't know if any of the other teams in the CFL right now can hang with any 3 of those teams. So, and listen, this might be a tougher pick if Ottawa had a quarterback. But right now with what's happening, with Crum, and they just signed Pigrom and, the Arbuckle questions, it's very, very hard to feel. And I love Bobby Dice. I mean, I was high on Ottawa coming into this season. I thought that, with quarterback play, they would be able to really contend for the East. That's not happening right now. And I think this could be a long, long night.
So we're both on the, what's that? What were you gonna say?
I was just going to say, just moving on, to this Ryder Stamps game. Very interesting matchup. And did you do the game between these two teams the first time they played?
I did not. I only did the Sunday game that weekend. I was prepping for the Sunday game while watching this game. Rod was on the call with Suits down in Calgary. Or was it in Calgary? Yeah, that one was that one in Calgary? I think it was in Calgary. Anyway, it was wild. A lot of crazy stuff happened in that football game. So I'm really looking forward to this rematch. And so we're going to go head to head on this one. I'm going to get on the Riders here at -1.5. And if any CFL fans are watching right now, I'm going to be calling this game on Saturday, and I can't wait to do it. To me, this is just a Trevor Harris play over a Jake Maier play for what I've seen so far. Like, Trevor Harris had some ups and downs in that game against Edmonton last week, but when they needed to drive the field to tie that football game and then win it in hilarious fashion just moments later, Trevor Harris was excellent. He was out on the run. He was making plays. Like, Trevor Harris at this stage of his career, when he needs to be a gamer, man, he can still do it. I'm not sure where Jake Maier is at right now. He cannot complete a pass past 20 yards down the field. Like, it just simply hasn't happened. So the Riders at home, -1.5. I love Harris with an advantage over Jake Maier in the quarterback play. And I think both defenses are pretty evenly matched. So I'm going to go with the Riders here at -1.5.
Yeah, I'm going to take the other side. Listen, I think these teams are really close. And listen, I know it's a very Winnipeg thing to, when in doubt, go against Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
However, I will say this. You look at their record. They have 2 incredibly narrow wins over the Elks and an OT win over the Stampeders. To me, this game is pretty much a pick 'em. At the end of the day, I think I'm going to go with the brother in red as opposed to the brother in green when it comes to coaching. I think this is listen, the Stamps are going to be the desperate team considering the way they've started this season.
They got to get a win here, man. If they open up with just the 1 win through 6 weeks.
Well, that's what I mean. I think there is an element of who needs it more. And I would say the Calgary Stampeders do right now. Listen, I think it makes a lot of sense that this game is the line is as close as it is right now. I have to think that Jake Maier has a little bit more to show. And listen, they need to get back to running the football the way they did in the first half against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers before the Bombers shut that down in the second half right now. So, listen, just look at the money line right now. Very, very close. We've got a 1.5 point spread. That being said, I'm going to take the points, and I actually like Calgary to win this game don't even mind a plus 102 sprinkle on the money line.
All right, well then let's see here, Hus. If we put together, let me bring back our picks for a sec. Let's see. So we like the Bombers, we like the Argos, but we're head to head on the other two. The one game's tonight, so we don't want to do that anyway. So, oh boy, what do we do on this Stamps Riders game, man? If we want to, or can we?
What would it do? A total?
Well, what's the total? I haven't even looked at the total. What's the total?
44.5. 44.5. Stamps scored 11 last week. The Riders scored 12 last week. I mean,
the other game was what? What was the final of the other Calgary? It went to overtime. Was it 29-26 or was it? And that's in overtime. It was 29-26 in overtime where points were. Yeah, I take the under. I take the under 44. You want to do that?
Yeah, if we want to take Bombers
44
and
and a half.
cover,
Yeah.
and under 44 and a half for the Calgary Sask game.
I like that. We'll send it to the boys. Let's do that.
All right.
That way, if it's a low-scoring game on the broadcast on Saturday, I can really be cheering for defenses. That'll be good.
Oh, what a defensive performance by both clubs here.
This is just amazing defensive football. Who couldn't like this? You know, hey, lock shoppers will know. Lock shoppers will know what's up. It's an exclusive group. That's good stuff. All right, so there you go. That's week 6 in the Canadian Football League. Should be great games, man. I can't wait to get back out there again. It's been a pretty decent vibe around the league this year outside of the stats issue, but that's for another podcast in a different place, I guess.
And outside of Commonwealth.
Yeah, that's right. You know, I saw Chris O'Leary wrote an article at CFL.ca that they end all their streaks tonight. They win at home, and CJ Sims, in the ultimate form of redemption, returns a kick, which hasn't happened for Edmonton since 2015. So it's been 8 years since they had a return touchdown of any sort. So maybe that happens tonight as well.
Can we get a prop on that?
I don't know if you can get a prop on that. I mean, if we asked politely, we probably could. Watch for that parlay. We'll obviously tweet it out and be watching the I'll probably have a player prop from this game for the Lock Shop Play of the Day today on all the Coolbet socials. So make sure you're watching for that as well. And we'll be back next week as we continue to ramp things up towards our 5 and 6 episode weeks when National Football League returns as well.
By the way, this is just quickly, I mean, you mentioned the player props. I just clicked on the TD scores, and like I've been paying a lot more attention to the Bomber games where like Dalton Schoen's minus 180 and Dembski's minus 155, Brady Oliveira's minus. There's only one player that's got a minus beside his name for a touchdown in this entire game. It's Kevin Brown at minus 118. Other than that, everyone else is plus money. So if you've got a good lean on a touchdown scorer tonight, there's a lot of plus money out there.
Hey, we hit Cornelius last week, didn't we?
Absolutely. That was a beauty.
Well, and he was at plus 220 or something. Then he's plus 140 now being locked in. How about the Kai Loxley revenge short yardage touchdown at plus 145? Ooh, that'd be a good one. You know one I actually don't mind. I don't know if this will end up being the play of the day, but Stephen Dunbar does not have a touchdown yet this year. This is against his former team, plus 175. He's been involved somewhat heavily as you can be involved in the Elks offense right now. I don't mind Dunbar at plus 175, but Cornelius is not thrown for more than one touchdown in a game yet this year. So we'll see what happens tonight. It should be fun. Can't wait to bring it to the nation. It should be fun.
If I'm going to ride on a Cornelius prop, it'll be a rushing touchdown. Nothing to do with his passing.
See you later, buddy.
Take it easy.